What's up, guys? It is Prescott season, back again with another video. In this one, I will be discussing the latest episode of The Flash, Season 4, Episode 18, titled Lose Yourself. If you have not watched this episode already, please go ahead and do that because there will be a lot of spoilers in this video, and this was quite a big episode, so I don't want to ruin any of that for you guys. If you've watched the episode already, you're in the right spot. We're going to get started. If you enjoy the video, please go ahead and give it a like down below. Subscribe to the channel for weekly Flash reviews and other DC TV shows and The Walking Dead. Those are all coming. And let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the episode. I'd love to hear your opinions about that. So yeah, that said, we're gonna go ahead and get started. The episode started kind of like any last episode started, looking for that last bus metahuman, looking for Edwin Gauss. Nothing too exciting in like the first 10 minutes, but then Harry kind of approaches them with the thing he calls the Sonic Scepter, which is basically just a giant tuning fork, but what it does is generates the same blast that Izzy Bowen used to harm DeVoe, which is so far this season has been the only thing we've seen to hurt DeVoe. So they kind of have this secret weapon up their sleeve now, and it's tech free, so Kilgore can't hack it. So they kind of, they're confident they have the one up on DeVoe with this thing. So that's good for them. After that, you start to see that Caitlin and Killer Frost are starting to become a lot closer, which is really cool to see. They're writing each other little notes, things like that. So it's cool to see that they're building a relationship now. It's not kind of two polar opposites anymore. They're, friends now, basically. So that's very cool to see. And then finally, we get to see our first look at Edwin Gauss as he exits. There we go. From a pocket dimension, and enters right back into that pocket dimension. So you see that his powers has something to do with pocket dimensions, him being able to enter and leave them freely. And they get the idea that, pocket dimensions are kind of independent from each other. So Edwin Gauss has his pocket dimensions, DeVoe has his, and, so that's kind of what they figure his powers are. And so you kind of see the Edwin Gauss's friends give him the name the Folded Man, which was cool because that's the comic name as well. So it's cool to see those two parallels. After that, you see Joe confronts Harry about the thinking cap. Harry gets all defensive, saying he knows what he's doing, but you're kind of starting to worry about Harry, get a little suspicious because that thinking cap is very dangerous and could start to play badly for Harry. So after that, they finally get Edwin Gauss, and they're kind of explaining all this stuff that's going on with DeVoe and all that, and right as they're done, the Samuroid shows up again and stabs Caitlin in the shoulder, but they solve all that easily. They all make it back to Star Labs, Gauss, Caitlin, Barry, and Ralph, and Killer Frost's powers heal Caitlin's wounds, so she's okay after all that. But Ralph is, he's not happy because that could have gone a lot worse than it actually did, so he's still on the train that they need to kill DeVoe, and Barry, is going back and forth with him saying, no, we can't, as heroes, we can't kill. Like, there's always another option than to kill. So kind of seeing them two go at it a little bit. That happens a few times throughout the episode. After that, Harry comes to Cisco looking for his thinking cap, and you see Harry is starting to lose it at this point. He seems like a full-on addict. He's throwing things around looking for the cap, blaming Cisco. He throws Cisco into the wall, kind of, until Joe finally shows up with the thinking cap and pretty much tries to get into his head and tell him, this thing is starting to have a negative impact on you, and you're going to start affecting the people that you care about, even though, he's using the thinking cap to try to protect the people he cares about, but in reality, it's causing a negative relationship with all of them now because it's starting to drive him insane. And so that kind of gets to him. You can tell he's kind of understanding that this thinking cap might not be the best thing for him anymore. So we're going to see how that continues to play out. Then you see Ralph talks to Edwin Gauss, and Edwin Gauss basically reveals what his powers are completely, and you find out that Gauss has been to DeVoe's lab. Gauss went there, without knowing it was DeVoe's lab. And so you figure out Gauss's powers, they're not independent with DeVoe. Gauss can travel to DeVoe's pocket dimensions, and he does exactly that, and tells Ralph about it, and Ralph gets super excited because, he's been looking for a way to kill DeVoe, get rid of him, and he finally figured it out because Gauss can get to his lair. So the idea of that excites Ralph. He decides to try to do it, and they go down, in the lower levels. Barry is ready for it, though, because he has motion detectors down there just in case. For anything, not Ralph specifically. It's just if, something happened to be going on down there. So Barry's there. They kind of argue a little bit about that. And They start to threaten each other about going at it with a fight. They end up fighting. Barry just takes care of Ralph easily, knocks him out with a punch. And then they kind of have a little heart to heart after, Ralph wakes up from his beatdown he took, even though it was just one punch. He got his butt kicked, but whatever. So they kind of have a heart to heart, and you kind of see what Ralph's what Ralph's problem is this episode, and it's the fact that he's so scared that DeVoe is going to hurt anyone in Team Flash, and he tells them that Team Flash is the closest thing he's had to a family other than his mom, and he's not worried about his own life anymore. He's more worried about his friend's life, and it's just you see this great character development with Ralph. At the beginning, he's kind of hated by Barry. Barry's not wanting anything to do with him. And then when he finally joins the team, they're starting to build a friendship. But Ralph is freaking out because he's scared that DeVoe is going to kill him. He doesn't want to be a hero. He doesn't want any part of it. Barry's struggling, trying to get him to, become a hero and become this better person. And then that leads to him, you think it's the same motive, but then you finally realize he's just been trying to protect the only other family he's had in Team Flash. So a nice little character arc for Ralphie. I'm a huge fan of Ralph. I love him. So that was very nice to see. A nice emotional scene there. I enjoyed that. Right after that, they decide, let's go to DeVoe's lair then. So they take Killer Frost, Vibe, and Barry to DeVoe's lair. They leave Ralph, Edwin Gauss, the other Meadows, all them back at Star Labs, to keep them safe. So they all travel there, and, you see DeVoe. Barry uses the Sonic Scepter, and it does not work. So all that, it led to nothing pretty much. But you realize it didn't work because that was not DeVoe there. That was a hologram. DeVoe tricked them, and DeVoe shows up in Star Labs in present day, pretty much. And Barry, Cisco, and Killer Frost are trapped in DeVoe's pocket dimension, and Ralph and Edwin Gauss and the rest of Team Flash are all alone in Star Labs with DeVoe. So that's where it all starts to go down. Shit hits the fan. It gets very intense. Starts off, Joe fights the Samuroid. Spoiler alert, Joe wins somehow. Very impressive. Way to go, Joe. He picks out the sword. They go one-on-one. It was, we didn't get to see it. I kind of wish we got to see more of that, but that's okay. And then, DeVoe shows up in front of Ralph, but it's in Izzy's body. I was hoping that the first time they'd meet it'd be a little more, I guess, emotional between the conversation between the two of them because, Ralph had a huge crush on her. I was hoping Ralph was kind of bring that up in a way, but it's still a very cool scene with the two of them. Ralph has to end up fighting the T-Rex that he fought earlier on this season. He has to fight that again. So that kind of keeps him busy. So while all of this is going down, Harry takes a look at his thinking cap, realizes what he needs to do. So he goes into his little, the room where Eobard Thawne would always go to with his newspaper and all that. And he plugs the thinking cap into the machine and starts plugging dark matter into his head. And, he's plugging so much, and Gideon is even trying to warn him. He plugs so much that he gets electrocuted and collapses. And he's out cold. He put way too much dark matter into his head, which that does not look good. That worries me a lot for future episodes with Harry starting to, he was already going off the rails a little bit, and after all, he put all that dark matter into the thinking cap and his head. That worries me a little bit, so we're going to see where that takes him for the rest of the season. After that, Ralph defeats the T-Rex again, surprise, and when Ralph exits, he sees all the metas on the ground from that they had captured. And, Edwin Gauss stands up, but it's DeVoe in Edwin Gauss's body. So all the other metas, all 11 of them are gone. Ralph is the last one standing. And, they kind of have a talk about it. But Ralph, he stored the Sonic Scepter in his kind of chest area. Like he literally put it in his chest because he can bend like that. So he put the Sonic Scepter in his chest to keep it away from Barry. He pulls it out and uses it on DeVoe. It works perfectly this time. DeVoe was flying back against the wall. And Ralph, approaches, telling him, one more of this and I can kill you. And you kind of get this thing. He raises it. He raises the Sonic Scepter as if he's about to kill him. And, he ends up not doing it. Kind of assume that was an easy one. They were going to kill DeVoe with 5 episodes left in the season. But Barry, Iris fights Marlize, and she ends up getting the rest of Team Flash out of DeVoe's pocket dimension, Barry, Cisco, and Killer Frost. And when Barry comes up, he sees that Ralph has DeVoe handcuffed in the medic handcuffs, and everything's going great, Barry's so proud that Ralph decided not to kill DeVoe. He captured DeVoe. He's looking like the hero. He saved everyone. And then DeVoe. I had a feeling. I was like, there's no way it was this easy. There's no way they're going to do something now. Like, they're going to do it from this way. And, DeVoe brings up the fact that, you should check the color of the cuffs before you use them. He lifts them up, and they are the color of Kilgore. When he hacks something, the cuffs pop off, and you see the little thing that kind of, the thing that comes out of DeVoe's chairs that grabs all the other metahumans. You can see it in Edwin Gauss's hand, puts it right on Ralph's head. Ralph goes down, and, Barry gets kind of stopped or kind of frozen by DeVoe so that he can't, move or can't fight back. And Barry has to watch as DeVoe puts his conscience into Ralph's body, killing Ralph and all the bus metas with that. And, Barry's trying to tell him, be strong, Ralph, you got this, like, I'll save you. And Ralph's last words are, you already did. And, whew, that was rough to watch. I expected Ralph to die this entire season because I was like, there's no way DeVoe has all this planned out with his thinking powers that he would allow Ralph to, that he would unknowingly have Ralph on Team Flash and not do anything about it. So I knew he would have died eventually. I just did not expect it this soon with 5 episodes left. Oh man, that was rough. That was rough seeing him die. I've been a huge fan of Ralph all season, and it just sucked. He kind of reminded me of the HR from last season, kind of the, almost, not the, well, he was the comedic relief in pretty much every episode, just like HR was last season. And it sucks to see him go, especially the fact that he's not really gone because now it is his body he's DeVoe pretty much. So we're going to have to keep seeing him. Barry's going to have to fight him and stuff like that, unless he decides to morph into Clifford like he did at the end of the episode. But we'll see how that plays out. I imagine he'll be as Ralph to just kind of toy with Barry and get in his head because, they were good friends. They had grown a lot over the season. So it sucked to see that. Ralph was a great character. But yeah, that was rough. They did not save a single meta. A single one of the bus metas, all 12 of them. They didn't make it out. That sucks to see, but it's what are you going to do? So you see when this is all going down there, it's aired on kind of on Star Labs, like you can see it on the Star Labs TV. Cisco comes down there and he was very, very mad when it all went down. He freaks out, not freaks out, but he uses all his strength. He vibes in the room. He starts kind of bleeding from his ear, and he's trying to stop DeVoe. He isn't able to. Killer Frost tries, and she goes to grab DeVoe to stab him with an ice shard. He kind of shoves her back. He tells her to melt, and she becomes Caitlin again. And so he pretty much disposes of Team Flash very easily. It was not a competition whatsoever. And then he travels back to his pocket dimension in Ralph's body. And so later on, after that, Caitlin brings up the fact that something feels weird about her. And you figure out that there is no more dark matter in her body because when she touched DeVoe, the powers of Melting Pot took the Killer Frost DNA out of her body because that's, the Melting Pot's powers is switching DNA, stuff like that. So no more Killer Frost for Caitlin. She's gone. So we lose Ralph and Killer Frost in one episode. What just happened? This was literally such a sad episode. And it makes sense because since the second half of the season, it's kind of felt like Team Flash has just been on a stream of good luck, The first half, it seems like DeVoe was one step ahead of them the entire time. But after this, Team Flash was getting a lot of wins. And it felt like everything was going good. I was like, DeVoe doesn't even seem like that much of a problem. Like, everything's going perfectly for them. So to have it lead up all the way to just crashing down, it's hard to watch. It sucks to watch. It sucks to see the team like this. And you see in the little scene with Marlize and Ralph as Clifford, or Ralph as DeVoe, he uses his powers to turn back into Clifford. So, original Clifford and Marlize are back together. It's good because I do like the actor that plays the original Clifford DeVoe. I like him more than I've liked most of the bus metas. The only one I'm okay with them using is Ralph. So that's cool that those are the two we're going to be seeing as Ralph and the original Clifford DeVoe. But, that was a tough episode. I was not expecting that. That kicked off fast, and it went down. That was insane. It was a great episode. I enjoyed it a lot. Very sad episode as well, though. I'm excited to see what they do next episode. I'm excited to see where Team Flash goes from here because honestly, I got nothing. There's no Killer Frost. The only people with powers there now are pretty much Barry and Cisco. Harry has his thinking cap, but even that's getting a little dangerous for him. So we're gonna see what they do with that. But the next episode, in the trailer you see Snart in the trailer, so that's very exciting. I imagine it's Earth X Snart and not, like it was last season when they went back in time and got the actual Leonard Snart from Earth 1, because, time travel is a no-no for Barry now. So I imagine it's Earth X Snart, but I'm excited. I love the actor that plays Captain Cold or Snart, and so I'm very excited to see that. But yeah, I'm at a loss right now of what Team Flash will do to stop DeVoe, and it's gonna be fun to watch. I'm excited to see how the end of this season plays out. Hopefully it goes out with a bang. Hopefully it's great. I'm excited. Let me know down below what you guys think is going to happen with the rest of the season, how they're going to stop DeVoe, all of that stuff. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on the episode and the rest of the season. That is all. I will see you guys next time. Bye.